Studio 110.live. I love Mondays. It was a great weekend. Shout out to Snoop Dogg. Shout out to Migos coming out here doing what they do the best, hitting that Shower Center. Pretty good crowd out there. We'll try to get some audio later on the show to give that concert a full recap. Show some respect to the guys. Whenever Snoop Dogg comes out, man, you know, everybody needs to come out. I mean, I don't think there's a better artist out there than Big Snoop Dogg. He comes out, he does his thing, and he always puts on a great show for Seattle and the Northwest. And because he's told me many times that Seattle is one of his favorite spots to perform. So I'm happy that the sunshine is out in full effect today out here in downtown Bellevue, where we broadcast the big show from at Studio 110. Live. Overall, it was a good weekend. You know, on a personal tip, I have no idea what I did, but my right arm and right wrist has just been hurting me beyond belief. And I'm not one to, start calling up the doctor and going through those proper procedures. So I'm hoping that it just heals itself. But I'll show you. I'll be, rest assured that I'm definitely not a radio host that would call in to my show producer Eric and says that I can't come in and do my show over a little wrist injury. So hopefully that'll repair itself. But sometimes I like to inject a little bit of personal, life situations into the show. So I'm excited. We got a lot of stuff to talk about today. I'm excited for my first in studio guests. My old friend, we've known each other for a number of years, Annie Haviland from Talk It Up TV, and of course, Jeremiah Kainer. Did I pronounce your last name there correct?
You got it.
All right, good. Sometimes last names can be a little bit difficult. But before we kind of open up and transition into the first in-studio guest today, I got to give a big shout out to two of our guys that we work with up here at our Studio 110.live headquarters. And we got our big comedy jam coming up. It's the Laugh Your Ass Off with Icons of Comedy. I'm pretty excited about this upcoming show. It'll be June 30th at the Shower Center in Kent. Tickets are officially on sale right now. You can go to the box office. You can call them. You can hit their website, Shower Center. That's where Snoop Dogg and Migos were this past Saturday. But we got a great lineup. We got Bill Bellamy coming. We got D. Ray Davis. We got Dion Cole. We got Ada Rodriguez, Melanie Camacho, Marlon Wayans. So we're not just bringing one comedian. We're bringing a whole stack. It's a star-studded stack. So there's no reason for you not to come out and have a great night with us and just laugh your ass off. Because all the people that have all these dysfunctional relationships and issues going on, whether they hate their boss or they're going through a breakup or whatever they're going through, this will be a good relief to your daily stressful life that people are dealing with. A couple other music news stories that we're going to try to get to this afternoon. I'm told it'll be fairly busy, but I always like to try to incorporate music news. Lil Wayne threatens fans at concert. So we'll play some audio from what went down at the Lil Wayne concert out in Australia. So we'll try to get some audio on from that. Anytime Lil Wayne's in music news, definitely worth talking about. And once again, our sincerest thoughts and condolences are with Avicii and his family and his management. What a sad passing for entertainment and the DJ world and everybody that was affected. He had definitely a strong fan base here, only 28 years old. So my sincerest condolences and thoughts to Avicii. And congratulations on kind of moving forward on a happier angle. Our buddy Anthony Hamilton, who won the big fight this past Saturday, is a UFC fighter. He was on the show with me on I think it was Thursday or Friday, and he won his big fight in the cage against Randy Garza at the Snoqualmie Casino on Saturday. So I'm very happy for him. I hope it's not his last fight. And I'm looking forward to him either calling in today or being in the studio at this week. All right, let's get to business here. I wanted to kind of get through some of the important things that were on my mind before we officially kicked off today. So now we've officially kicked off, and I want to welcome again my friends Annie Haviland and my new friend Jeremiah here. Talk It Up TV. You guys have been around. You guys are a staple here in the Northwest in the community. You guys have done a lot of great things on the charity side, and just on how you guys kind of wrap your your overall configurations into the platforms that you guys represent. And I'm excited to have you guys in here. So first off, welcome to the show, Annie.
Thank you very much. And I would like to just restart over, and that is your really young friend, not old friend.
Well, old in the sense that I remember the night that I met you at Tia Lou's.
No, we don't need to go there.
Well, I don't even remember what year it was, but it was a number of years ago. I don't remember the event. Amir, back in those days, the VIP lounge was always upstairs, and they had the couches and the table, and I was with some of my friends, and you were with some of your friends, and we just kind of just started chatting about. I was at the former radio station then, so I think we were talking, radio, and you were getting ready to emerge into the TV scene. So there were definitely some similarities. And we just kind of, talked about a lot of things. Then, of all places, we went to IHOP. I mean, I never would have guessed that we would have gone to IHOP.
Friends helping friends.
And we would have got, we got the 5 stack of pancakes to end the night at Tia Lou's. So that's how far you and I go back. And
yes.
For a lot of people, that's
for the young ones.
Right. So, and you and I have run into each other, throughout the years. I ran into you at that great event out in Fremont that we co-hosted together, and I still see the pictures from time to time on social.
Yes, that was Project You Can.
Yes, that was always great to be up on the stage hosting an event with you, and that was a good turnout. It was a good night.
That was a great night.
Oh,
and I have to say, those MCs were amazing.
They were. I mean, up and coming MCs should take notes.
Yes, absolutely.
I mean, you and I should, maybe offer courses on how to properly MC an event these days, right?
I think we could get started on
Come
that.
a little closer to the mic, please.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Note number 1.
Yeah. I want people to fully hear and be engaged with what Annie is talking about. But you and I have been around for some time. You've always been kind of on the TV side. I've always been on the radio side, and radio and TV. I mean, last time I checked, they go pretty hand in hand. So
they do.
And another similarity is we both have liked hosting events. So we've done some good co-hosting and some good branding awareness, continuing to bring out here to the Northwest. So like I said, it's great to have you in, and introduce yourself properly for me. Of course, I did my homework and my show prep on you, Jeremiah, but I know you guys are ultimately partners in crime here, but you also do quite a few things on the side as well.
I do. I actually own Corporate Side Productions, and it's like a partner company with Talk It Up TV, which we work really well together. I feel that we both have the same ambitions as far as like creating content that opens up the eyes of the public, of society and stuff, and trying to helps people see ways of changing for the better, how to change social issues and stuff. So
good. So let's Talk It Up TV's always got fun things in the works. You guys always have things. I see it all over social media. I see it on Instagram, and I see it on Facebook. So what are we currently working on right now at good old Talk It Up TV headquarters here in the Northwest?
Well, right now, our events committee is working really hard on a few upcoming events. One of them, we're doing the VIP golf tournament with the Herder team. And we'll be the beneficiary for that, along with a few other nonprofits. But it's basically golfing, and then there will be an entire sit-down dinner over in the Renton area.
Great.
And that's coming up in May. So that's going to be a current one. We also are in the works of planning our big event, which is our red carpet premiere. And that one typically is an annual one that is fully put together by our events committee and volunteers. So every Tuesday we have an events committee that meets over in the Bellevue area, where it's people who just want to help out in the community and make a difference, and they come together and help us plan and put together these events. And the cool thing about it is they all go towards charitable causes, and we are a charity. So the nice thing is it's not just one type of cause where you're just going to help sick children or hurt animals or cancer survivors. It's going to be wherever there is a need here in the U.S.
Great.
And so every event that we do, we basically party for a purpose, and each purpose is always a different cause. And so we get to help out in all kinds of areas. So if a tragedy all of a sudden hits here in our community, we can be on it immediately.
Good.
So we'll be working again on our spooky soiree as well. That's a Halloween party. And then this year, I'm kind of excited because I think we're going to be throwing in a big, huge New Year's Eve party.
Wonderful.
there's not always very many amazing things to do on New Year's Eve, and a lot of us want to get together, and we want to do the countdown together, and so why not do it and raise money at the same time to help out those in need? And so we're in the works of planning something big, and we go big too.
Well, you do. I mean, it's either go big or go home. So you guys are very competitive, and you guys shut down the competition. I really don't think there actually is any other competition that I'm aware of in terms of the platform that you guys continually build out here in the Northwest. I'll propose something that I normally like to do here on the show, that if you guys would like to be able to utilize this platform and this fine show to be able to come in and make future announcements for these events, you have my word that us here at Studio 110.live will stand behind you guys appropriately and respectfully to allow you guys to come in the studio here with myself and my show producer Erica to come in and make these announcements. Or I mean, like I said, you can do whatever you guys want, but just thought I'd throw it out there as a little courteous gesture from my end. So
thank you. That means a lot. And we have that recorded, right? We got his word?
Yeah.
Yes.
I can come in and do whatever I want. So
well, I didn't necessarily say whatever you want. I said that you can come in and make announcements for your events.
Fine.
And you might want to put some fine print.
Yeah. Well, we have lawyers and everything here that need to okay things before they go out. But I'm saying for like the New Year's Eve parties and stuff. That, by the way, I should be co-hosting with you. I mean,
maybe
you and I.
We should be doing that here even.
Yeah.
I mean,
this could be a potential.
Plenty of things to talk about. This could be a good, healthy partnership here for
Absolutely.
Studio 110.live. And, Dirty Harry's back, for Pete's sakes. It feels good to be back, on the air for 19 frickin' years, holding down the number one show.
Idea how long I listened to you.
Well, I appreciate it. See, now we're equal. See? How long,
now he's
how
the
old. See, how old, how long. So now, Annie, do you feel better?
I do. Okay. Remember, I'm the young friend, you're the old friend.
And I'm just middle line,
Okay.
Yeah. So when did Talk It Up TV? What was the year that it just kind of came out? Just like gang stoppers here. What was the year that it just unveiled to the Pacific Northwest?
That was probably around 2012, 2013 is where it really started to go big.
Okay.
I actually started it just a few years prior to that.
Okay.
I've been a mortgage broker for over 20 some years.
Yep.
Started when I was 2. And you got note of that one, right?
I do. What was it like being a mortgage broker in the terrible twos? I mean, you were probably teething and waking up in the middle of the night.
Lots of complaints.
Lots
She
of
was a
complaints.
boss baby.
Yeah, boss baby for sure.
Yeah.
But in 2007, 2008, there were a lot of people losing their jobs, losing their homes. It was a really big crisis for us here with the mortgage meltdown, and a lot of people didn't know where to turn or didn't know what to do. And there really wasn't a format to send people to go get positive news or get real reality versus, everybody run, everybody, it's doom and gloom, it's negative, breaking news, someone, crashed and now run. And fear, started becoming part of everyday life. And so that's when Talk It Up TV kind of came to my cell phone, where I started writing my business plan on it. Imagine that, right?
I mean, that's usually how it works. I mean, you just kind of type up something and just, let it kind of, organically grow on its own. And, look at the traction that's built up since you left kind of real estate behind, the mortgage side of the business behind. And now you're a full-time, you're a full-time host, TV host, and all the other fun characteristics that you do on the side.
I do, yeah. And then we ended up moving the show down here to Seattle probably in about 2013 or so.
Okay.
And then from there, it really just kind of kicked off. And, since then, we've been on billboards all over in Chicago, Boston, all over, up and down I-5 corridors. Jeremiah and Tess came along.
Shout out to Frank.
Yes.
Frank Padani for making that happen.
Yep.
Oh, my God.
It was amazing. And then
it must have felt good to get on an airplane and fly out to Boston and Chicago, rent a car, and drive down the street to see yourself on the billboard.
It was very weird. Friends that lived in the area would send pictures as well, and then I was able to actually fly down there and see it.
Did you have like a little party under the billboard?
Yeah, right. No, they actually did.
Billboard party.
They got me hard hats that said "Talk It Up TV" on it, and they tried to get me on top of one of them to take pictures with it. And
you should have. Hopefully, you did that.
Well, here's the deal. It ended up pouring sideways, pretty much raining that day with wind. And they're like, okay, climb the ladder. And I'm looking up and going,
Yeah,
oh,
so
no.
your left hand's got the umbrella, and then the right hand you're climbing up the ladder. If a fireman could do it, can't Annie Havlin?
Right? I mean, I am Superwoman almost. I'm getting there. I'm working on it. But it was just a little bit scary.
So the billboard party was under an umbrella under the billboard.
Exactly. And so I ended up passing on that one, saying, well, let's just go ahead and take pictures a different time. So backed out of that one, but I do have evidence of the billboards. It was really cool. But and then we also have been able to premiere our episodes nationwide.
Yeah.
We try to focus on the U.S.
Yep.
So that's where our goal is, to remain the show all over in the U.S. And we've been on different stations pretty much in every single state now.
That's great. And out of all the states that you've had the opportunity to leverage and work with and partner with, besides the obvious Seattle, what were some other markets out there that you enjoyed developing the appropriate traction into place for Talk It Up TV?
Well, I really like Idaho.
Idaho?
Yeah, because one of my favorite recipients from our show lives over there, and she was a part of it, and she broke history. I don't know if any of you saw the episode that we did with Hannah. Hannah has...
Don't think I did.
She has a rare disease called Treacher-Collins syndrome. It's where you're missing your 5th chromosomes in your facial structure. So this little girl had no cheekbones. She had no ears. She had no airway passage through her nose or her mouth. So she's never eaten food before in her entire life. It all went through a feeding tube. She's never even been able to breathe through her nose before.
Wow.
And so her I would say her dreams in life were to have 2 things: cheekbones and to swim with the dolphins. And so I do understand, okay, a lot of people want to swim with dolphins, but she had a beautiful meaning behind it that elaborated more on her story. The reason she wanted to swim with dolphins is because she's never been able to submerge herself in water before. She can't even take baths because it can't get through her trach. So she has to be careful when she's in water. And so she's never been able to swim. And she says dolphins swim freely. And so there were only 2 hospitals in the entire U.S. that would even consider her surgery, because it's never been done in the U.S. before. And one of them was Seattle Children's Hospital. The other one was Chicago. So Hannah lives in Idaho, and we were able to grow a really great fan base over there and relationships with people that live over in Idaho. And she ended up coming up here to Seattle, and they performed the surgery on her, and she was in a halo for several months. They ended up taking bone marrow from her skull, put it underneath her eyes, so she now has cheekbones. And what child needs to dream of cheekbones, right?
Right, exactly. Yeah.
You wake up and say, oh, I wish I had this new car, or oh, I wish I had this new thing. But to have to dream of cheekbones, that just hit me.
Yeah.
And so they performed the surgery on her, and then she had to go through lots of testing afterwards where she had to learn how to breathe. She had to learn how to eat. She's never eaten before, so it was almost like feeding an infant. She had no muscles from chewing, so it was baby food, and they had to make sure she was going to be able to gain weight on her own. And then Hannah eventually broke history, and they were able to take the trach out. She was able to breathe on her own. She eventually now can eat on her own.
Wonderful.
And
Wonderful.
she has her cheekbones.
What a great story, Annie.
Yeah, and we ended up sending her to Hawaii with the community's help. We were able to raise enough air miles for the whole entire family. And then one of my friends donated their timeshare. And then we were able to arrange for her to swim with the dolphins. And then we also got word over to...
Wow.
It's kind of cute.
If you not to interrupt you, but if you put that close to one of the cameras here in the studio,
you guys want to see what Hannah looks like?
They should be able to see it on the live TV side.
You're gonna be in love.
TV side. Maybe my producer Erica can take that on so the viewers can.
You guys are gonna fall in love with Hannah, and if you go to talkituptv.com, you can click on Hannah's dream to see her story, and then there's a follow-up story of her going to Hawaii. So we ended up surprising her, sending her there, and then I asked her, just because I know a few of the Seahawks players, and she was at the hospital for a while. I said, Hannah, any of the Seahawks players that you wish to meet? And she goes, oh. She's so sassy. She's so cute. Oh, no. Let me just make this very clear. What's that, sweetie? I only have eyes for Russell. Okay, then. And we were able to get through to him, and he was able to swing in and meet her, and it just completely made her day.
And that must have just felt so good just from you, Annie, and Talk It Up TV for being the true backbone and the platform on multiple platforms, but the awareness platform to take someone that's really, having a serious illness, and just completely doing a transformation to being able to allow them to eat and breathe, and that story right there is one of the most powerful stories I can assure you that I've heard since I've launched my new show, but in the history that I've been on the air in Seattle. I mean, it's major props to you and to your entire team for heading that up, and big shout out to Russell Wilson too, because he I know during the season and during the off season, I know he frequents children's and really gives back to the kids at the hospital.
And he does have a high demand now, so it's not all the children get to see him, but the fact that he made a special trip in to go see her, it was really beautiful, and it meant a lot to her. And they are huge Seahawk fans, and since this has happened to Hannah, it's broke history.
Really?
She was the very first one ever officially in the U.S., and it was at one of our red carpet premieres that she was able to come up and announce that day is the day that her trait came out. And I think right after that she was on, Good Morning America and tons of different shows, and they didn't know about her until after watching this.
What was the food that at the carpet event that she had for the first time? It was adorable.
Great question.
So she did call me the week prior, and she was coming up, and she says, Miss Annie, I have one more dream. I said, okay, honey, what are you going to ask for now? And she goes, oh, I've always dreamed of what chocolate-covered strawberries would taste like. That's and fruit punch. I've imagined it for so long. So I called up my friend Michael Halter, and he owns Lucia Restaurants. And I said, Michael, because he was coming to help out with parts of it, he was one of our volunteers. And I said, could you round up some chocolate-covered strawberries and some fruit punch? And he goes, I got you. No problem. Done. So I said, when we got her on stage, I said, Michael, can you come on up? And I said, Hannah, we have something for you. And she grabs it. And the sweet child could not even contain herself. She reaches over and she grabs those strawberries out and she just starts shoving them in her mouth. And she's sitting there going, and she couldn't stop smiling. And she just had all of us just in tears and laughter. And
it's great.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. And I'm sure she'll be featured hopefully on upcoming shows if it's
for sure.
If the availability is there. And I think that's something to always be able to throw into your platform, into your show, Talk It Up TV, because more people need to do that, Annie. And like I said, props to you for building up that foundation and assuring the proper outcomes, which I'm sure you did. Knowing you is recently, I won't say as long, because I'm not. I don't want to go down that road where making people sound like we're
old.
We're older when we're all young. We're all young at the end of the day. But with that being said, much congrats to you and
thank you.
Everything that you did on that mission and forefront. Let's transition now, and I want to talk a bit on this artists working with artists in celebration, and let's touch on that, because that is a big thing on this platform. And this show at Studio110.live had a lot of artists come in, and some artists, when they're in the studio together, now I'm hearing that they're talking about collaborating with each other in the studio and doing each other's videos and doing some stage performances together. So I'm definitely interested to talk about this artists working with artists in celebration factor.
Definitely. It's something that I've always been passionate about. I've done a lot of music videos for large artists, working basically for other directors and production companies as a director of photography. Yeah. And I started realizing that a lot of these companies were charging $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 for music videos, and I'm like, this doesn't feel right to me.
Yep.
Because these are at the end of the day, the money eventually comes out of the artist pocket in the long run.
Yep.
And it should be a collaboration. It's video artists coming together with music artists, and I think it's something that should be helped out. People should be helping each other out.
I completely agree.
And right now, we just started yesterday a production on the first day of 4 days of production for Complex Dialect, and I am really excited because we've been working creatively with the artist and coming up with concepts for their music video, and then taking their ideas to a whole nother level for them, and they get really excited.
Yep.
And doing it for a fraction of the price of what it would normally cost them if another company was doing this.
Yep.
And we also like to sponsor. We'll find a couple or one or two bands out in the local area that really jump out at us, and we're like, that would never be able to afford a music video, and we like to sponsor a couple of music videos every year. And then we're kind of working with we're sponsoring a documentary. Corvuside Productions is sponsoring this documentary on homelessness, and it's all about passion projects, artists, and stuff like that. So it's just always been something that really like kind of resonated with me. Is making sure everybody has a chance to have the best of something out there.
Yep. And that's once again another platform that you guys are being able to give back to the community for, the proper awareness and proper channeling effects. Let's talk about some of the artists in particular that you guys have had the opportunity to work with.
I have worked with quite a few actually. I'm gonna have.
Are you talking about just music artists in general?
On the music side right now.
Cola.
Yep.
Cola is one of my personal favorites. He is also known as Sir Mix-a-Lot's right-hand guy, Kid Sensation.
Yep.
If you guys knew him back in the day, he kind of reinvented himself. And now him and his son, Kendi Fresh, they rap all about positive messages. And they are so good. Their music is so catchy, but you'll never hear any slang in there. You'll never hear anything derogatory. It's all like uplifting stuff, but their beats are incredible.
And that's where it all starts. I'm always speaking to artists, and I'm always telling them you gotta figure out the proper production and beats and sound. Because if you don't have that, you don't have anything. I mean, the lyrics can be super on point, but you gotta have the right beats. You have to have the right sound, because that's what's going to be catchy, and that's what's going to get the fan base, intrigued and attracted ultimately.
And his son takes after his dad. I mean, this kid has entertainment in his blood, and when he gets out and performs, that kid rules the stage. Like, it is incredible, his confidence and his talent. Jeremiah has done music videos for them, and
done 2 music videos for them. They're a blast to work. That kid is incredible. That kid is going to be a star by the time he hits his mid-20s.
And he already is becoming
already
that,
is a star. He's a little kid. It's like, you've got to be kidding me. And his dad is raising him right.
Yes.
It's amazing.
If I'm not misled here, I'm pretty sure that he was on the Summer Jam stage with us a few years coming out, because Sir Mix-a-Lot, I think, brought him and his dad to a few of the shows at the Gorge. So I'm definitely, I think I definitely know who you're speaking of. And shout out to Sir Mix-a-Lot. He was in here with me. He kicked off the show on March 15th. He was in here, and he's on a 47 city national tour right now.
Wow, that's
talk
impressive.
about most national artists can do 20, 25, 30. He's doing 47 cities.
Wow.
And he always reinvents himself, and he always rebrands himself and reimages himself, and he just continues to elaborate where he left off, and he's selling the shows out too. So anybody that's always been surrounded with Anthony Sir Mix-a-Lot, on a business level, it's always a bright picture at the end of the day. And speaking to Kid Sensation from back in the day, but ultimately how he's reinvented that wheel, and that's a true testament, because I'm sure Mix-a-Lot had a lot to do with that. So
definitely,
yes, he did.
Definitely.
What other artists are on the good old roster?
So other artists, Jeff Tate, one from Queensryche, got to work with him. Worked with Metal Church. That was an interesting one to work with. They were very passionate. Also worked with a couple of the companies shooting for Speaker Child.
Yep.
I don't know if have you heard of him?
Yep.
Amazing group around here. We've also done Chris Mass. He's always fun. Those music videos, their concepts that they have are always off the wall, wacky, very interesting, and super fun to shoot. Let's see, we've also done Aftron Prater. Can't.
It's a tough one.
It's
a tough
one.
Yeah.
And one of my favorite ones that we've done is working with a friend of mine, Colin Neal, on a music video with Devin Sinha.
Okay.
It's Sinha.
Okay.
Oh my Lord, that guy has music beautiful. Just beautiful voice. It's just stunning, and it was really fun working on that music video. And that was when I kind of realized, like, the production of that Colin had put together was a huge production for a fraction of the price of what you would assume that it was worth. And that's kind of what inspired me. I was like, look, if Colin can do this, like, our big company we can do this too.
Yeah.
We can
Yeah.
be there for the artists the same way.
Yep.
We were also just at Marymore this last year on Stage with Slightly Stupid, and
Oh yeah.
we did the behind the scenes interview. I got to host that, MC that, and then Jeremiah and his team filmed a great video piece for, I believe it was Dope Magazine.
Yeah. Dope Magazine.
Yeah, so they were amazing.
They said that that was the best interview that they've ever had, thanks to Annie Havlin.
thank you.
See, Annie,
being
you
the
know, you're
host.
continuing to just, you know, have the proper placement into the groove, and you just continue to come out, and whether you're helping a child that is desperately in need, or you know, working with good old David Tran and all those guys over at Dope, you just continue to do it. Like, I wasn't joking earlier when I said that you should offer a workshop for up and coming talent that I would do with you. You know, to be able to show them the proper platforms and resources to be able to have, you know, because for a lot of people it's confidence. You know, I've met a lot of artists that, you know, they're still getting comfortable with the aspect of getting up on stage and performing. You know, and that's the first thing you got to conquer. You know,
I agree.
Very true.
I was just talking with my fiance Tess, who is an editor and also works with Talk It Up TV. She does all the editing for Talk It Up. But we were just talking about how when we work with other new people doing interviews and new people like that are kind of like hosting and stuff, how sometimes it's cringe worthy, because we're so spoiled having Annie do a lot of our hosting for us for our stuff as well as Talk It Up TV, and you see a seasoned person, and then it's hard to tell the new person when you're not a host yourself, like, this is what you need to do. It's like they need to learn from people like you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate that, and maybe we'll put that into place, and the amount of money that we get from it will go back to your nonprofit organization called what is that, 501c3?
That's right.
501c3. Let's talk about what 501c3 is all about here.
It's a federal tax exemption, so that means we are a full nonprofit organization, and we're exempt from the IRS. So when people make donations to us, you know, obviously they need to talk to their accountant. That's the legal, but they're deductions. They're full deductions.
Good.
So even when you attend one of our events, when you're buying the ticket, there's a face value to that. So, you know, if you go to a movie versus, you know, buying a ticket and the price of entertainment for that, or if you buy a ticket to one of our charitable events, a lot of that can be written off on your taxes. So you either give it to the IRS or you give it to charity.
What up and coming events besides the ones that we talked about? You know, of course, you got your birthday coming up, and the other ones that we touched on. Any
This
others?
week.
Yeah, happy early birthday.
Thank you. It's my birthday week. Do you notice how the sun came out?
It did. All because of you.
It wasn't waiting for tomorrow.
Yes, all because of you. How many people are expected to Annie Havlin's birthday party? Well, if I pull up, will there be a line literally around Westlake Avenue there? I actually happened to be at that bar last night.
Did you? Oh, well, I haven't actually made it public.
Okay, so I won't mention the name of the bar.
We don't know.
Luckily, I didn't, because there's many bars on Westlake. So
I have done that before, and it is quite fun. We get random groups of people then that will show up, and it's very humbling, and it's nice to know that people want to come out and celebrate my birth. But this year I made it private for some of my close friends, and so we're going to celebrate at a local, just because I do believe in using local companies, company here in the Seattle area, and we are just going to go out and have some fun times, and we're going to make new memories. My life is all about making memories together, so I love doing things throughout the night that we could just laugh at and be like, remember that one time we went to IHOP in the middle of the night and had, you know, pancakes. Remember that? Yeah,
Pancakes,
remember that?
Yeah.
I think that's what life is all about. So we'll be doing that, and hopefully they'll open up an outdoor venue because it's going to be very beautiful out this week.
Good. Well, if I'm, because I don't like to ever invite myself.
You're invited.
That's the last thing I want to do. But I was going to say,
we're old friends.
I was going to say that if I'm not invited, I'm going to still come crash the party.
You better crash the party, and Erica over there better come too. Her little pretty.
I'll make just a huge, undercover,
Come in
scene.
stealth.
Yes, I will.
Do you know how to break dance?
No.
Shoot, I was going to say, I would like you to appear breakdancing.
That will never happen.
All right.
That will never happen. So.
Do you sing?
That'll never happen. I do sing. Yeah, sometimes I sing in the shower at the house. But
I wanted you to be a new local artist that we could support. So I was hoping you could. enter that way? No?
Yeah,
No? Too much?
Only thing that I've ever done artist-wise was an embarrassing rap that I did back in high school that I still remember to this day. But
I'm down.
I won't be sharing that on the show because that's not
Only at my birthday party.
That's not some of my
Coming soon.
work that I'm proud of. That was a good freshman at Roosevelt High School. So
You can reenact it though at the birthday party.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you're saying there's a chance, guys.
Well, slim to none. So slim to none on a good day.
I got hope.
So you mentioned earlier that you want me to kind of play an artist at your party at the secret location around Seattle. Maybe it's, who knows? Maybe it's not in Seattle, but wherever it is, that won't be happening either. But
I think you should bring Snoop.
The other
Snoop, are you listening?
I could reach out to him. But the other thing that I would propose is if you wanted to hand me a microphone, and it wouldn't be my first time getting on a microphone at a function, I would give you the proper birthday shout out.
Perfect. I can arrange this, and I would like it Marilyn Monroe style.
Well, see, Jeremiah.
Am I asking too much
see,
again?
You live with her. Yeah, you live with her, and
I know.
And you see this side of Annie probably every day and every night.
Don't even.
We're
know.
thinking about a reality TV show, Three's Company, like a new version of Three's Company. You guys have no idea. So much entertainment.
It's like living with your crazy sister.
Why do I have to be crazy?
Well, she's
It's
far
so
from crazy.
Fun. It's
Yeah.
far
Yeah.
from crazy. It's fun.
Yeah.
We
Laugh a lot.
We have so much fun together. The three of it, like Tess and I live with Annie, and it's like a big family. And it's behind closed doors, the funny crap that comes out.
Well, if you're not already doing
so
this,
amazing.
if you're not already doing this, you guys need to get a camera crew in the house just to be able to record.
We have one. I live with them.
No, but to be able to record this for Talk It Up TV, because that's some of the
It would
best.
not be Talk It Up TV
It
content.
wouldn't be. No, it's funny.
But people like to see behind the scenes. They like to see what
totally,
happens, when the
totally.
cameras aren't rolling, when the red carpet's not in place.
I'm a
wanna-
full-blown
You want to know
goofball.
where to see a lot of it? Snapchat.
Well, yeah.
I will
Naked
not give you my
Snapchat.
feed.
What's going to be the outfit of choice? What have you prepared to wear for your birthday celebration?
Oh, I do have a dress. One of my favorite brands is BB. I love it. Even though they all just shut down and now you can only get it online. Thank God I pretty much know my sizes, but it's still difficult.
What's wrong with Zara?
I like Zara as well, but I do have a dress that I picked out already and I love it.
Okay.
So I'll be rocking that. But
Good.
There'll be pictures. There'll be evidence.
Good. Because we definitely need the evidence. Jeremiah, so was this
Yes.
a normal routine then in terms of what she just asked me to do, to break dance,
Yeah.
to sing like Marilyn Monroe?
It's not too much to ask.
Like literally how I
it's
denied and
normal.
shut every single opportunity that she presented my way.
Oh,
I
there's more
literally
coming.
shut it down. I mean, I completely shut it down.
Definitely. No, she asked the most random stuff
Yeah,
from you. But
I can't even
it's all-
imagine what's
it's
going to
all
be coming
in fun and
next.
games.
Like, for me to show up with my gardening gloves on or something
Hey,
like that.
if you don't ask, you never know.
Right,
And
right.
sometimes people accidentally say yes.
Yeah. I mean, I am an open book.
That's
You can ask me
true.
whatever you want, under a proper umbrella here at Studio 110.live. So speaking of Studio 110.live, to bring it back in here a little bit, Monday through Friday, the new, hottest live podcast show here in the Northwest. Of course, we broadcast nationally. We got some international fans as well. And today I got my friends in the studio from Talk It Up TV. Got Annie Haviland, and I'm
That's
not
me.
going to say she's an old friend anymore.
A young one.
She's a young friend.
A longtime young friend.
We've known each other for a couple weeks, and then her roommate and business associate, and someone that has to play counselor, and and do everything else on the side, Mr. Jeremiah. And if you weren't here, Jeremiah, today, I would be a little concerned that things could have got out of hand pretty quickly. So thanks for being in here to making sure that this fine studio stays in place. So
it's true. It would have become the Annie studio.
yes. So I'm glad you're here to be kind of the judge ultimately. So let's talk about next order of business here, because we have a lot to talk about. Homeless documentary.
Oh yes. I am really excited about doing this. We are on production day, like 20, I think, for this documentary. So I was perusing my email and I saw this post that somebody had posted on one of the call boards saying that they needed a videographer for doing a homeless documentary that they wanted to do. And I was like, homeless documentary to me, like the homeless situation, is kind of near and dear to my heart because for years, a friend of mine, Frank Padani, and I, we go and pick up food at Trader Joe's when they had the basically the donation food. We go and feed people downtown and stuff. And I for years, every Sunday, that was like our religion. Like it was a thing.
That's cool. It's great.
And so I got to see a lot of up close, like people that I got to know and people that came and went and everything. So I see this post and I'm like, I really want to know what they're doing. Like I would love to be part of this. Had coffee with. Turns out it's a senior in high school that she wanted to do it for her senior project, but then realized she wanted to take it farther than that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she was very passionate about it as well. And so me and my fiance, we talked about this, Tess, and we're like, let's do this. Let's help sponsor this because she for the amount of work going into it, there was very little raised for it.
Yep.
And I was like, we'll sponsor. We'll film for a couple months with you. Every day that we have off, that we're not filming on a commercial or filming on anything else, we'll film with you. And it's been amazing. We've had incredible. We just put out the rough cut of the trailer that she handed in for her project, and her teacher and all the people that saw it, a lot of the parents and stuff, were like, "We'll help you back this. We'll make this happen." And it's basically looking at the laws that were created in the 90s and stuff about the housing laws that kind of put us in the situation where a lot of people are living without a roof over their head.
Sure.
Because you're looking at the average income is $80,000 for a household in Seattle, in the greater Seattle area. But we're seeing up to like 10,000 people a year that don't have a roof over their head because, and they're middle class people, and things can happen on a dime.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like any life tragedy or anything that can just knock you a little off track, and suddenly you don't have a place to live.
Right.
And we started these interviews that we were doing with not only a lot of the foundations around the area that help try to house people and doing proper procedures and stuff to get people back on their feet, but also interviewing people that have experienced homelessness like crazy. And it's kind of scary to realize that like anyone like us, it could happen within a month. And if you don't have a good support group around you to turn to, you got nowhere to go.
Correct.
And a lot of people look at it like, oh, it's a lot of drug use or mental illness, and like that's 20% of the people on the street.
Yep.
That's 20%. That's 80% of people that have just had life go crazy wrong really quick.
Yep.
Can I add to this?
Absolutely. I want to, first off, let me welcome you in here. I've got my friend who just stepped in here, Mr. Ryan Conley, who's the magical man behind FutureNet and my main sponsor for my show here, Studio 110.live, my brand new show. I'm back on the air Monday through Friday, 1 to 3. And I couldn't be happier to have Ryan as my main sponsor. And I would like Ryan to kind of discuss the platform that he is working so hard on with his team here, and just the testimonials in terms of the magic that you've created.
Well, you know what's really interesting here is that, and I apologize, this just really kind of touches my heart big time right now, like what you're talking about, because my whole morning I've dedicated to reaching out this morning. And I don't even know what's being talked about here today, but the homelessness situation is really, really bad, and it really needs to be addressed. And I've been spending my morning all morning long reaching out to different homeless, to bloggers. I've been writing for the Seattle Times, so I've done that today. I've called the Real Change newspaper. I've been in communication. Maybe you work with them.
We interviewed with them too.
So I really, truly believe that I have a good solution for this, because right now, and I'm not trying to take a whole bunch of credit here, this is something I've always been thinking about, how messed up society is nowadays. Like you're saying, it's a very weak environment, a very weak structure where someone could fall off immediately, right? And
Seattle's number 3.
I've been homeless before. I've been homeless before 2 times in my life.
Really?
Okay.
See?
And I have a great family support, but I chose to bounce off the bottom and bounce back up. But a lot of times what happens is people become homeless and they give up because they give up on the way the world operates. And what I've been sharing with these homeless things, I think it's silly that they don't accept Bitcoin. First of all, I think it's really silly that these homeless, because I've been trying to donate Bitcoin all morning just because I feel a calling to do so this morning, and I've been on this, and they don't even take Bitcoin. So I would say that a lot of the homeless are, there is a lot of mental issues, and you know what? It's because of stress a lot of times.
Yeah.
Okay? Stress kills. What stresses people out is when they can't pay the bills and provide food for their families, right?
Yeah.
Okay? So this is a result. If the US dollar has declined from 100% value down to 3% of the value, and it's not the homeless people that are making this happen, right?
Yeah.
That's an issue right there. And so if we get back to what the real value of money is 100%, then it's going to have, first of all, a positive impact on the situation. And I think it's going to tie into the rest of the things that we need to see make happen here. So there's a meeting at 5 o'clock tonight. I'm actually going to be probably going to about the homeless. Are you aware of this meeting tonight at 5 p.m.?
No.
Well, maybe we met divinely today, all of us, and I welcome anyone that wants to come with us today to this 5 o'clock homeless meeting in Seattle. But I'm going to propose at this meeting that just partaking in this new, for those that have a cell phone, for example, I mean, there's different levels of being homeless, right? Like you can have a home and still be on Facebook and be a Facebook addict and homeless, right? Just plugging into at McDonald's or something before you go crash on the underway pass. But you know, I have an issue, and what I foresee being in digital currency 100% full time is that, first of all, when the value declined of money, that's where we're in a lot of situations today. And number two, the tech giants, the Facebook and the Google, that money needs to go back to the people. It's just a digital product.
I agree.
Okay, so imagine if 90% of that money, that $25 billion that Facebook makes a year, goes back to the content producers who are all of us. Okay, that are doing it. Okay, people would have money to eat. Okay, and that's really all we need to be in a better world.
It's filtering it back down through society, and it would filter all the way from the top to the very, very bottom.
Yes. So this deals with decentralization of the tech giants, and this will happen. And this is going to be a growing trend within other businesses as well, where the money just doesn't go to management; it goes more to the people right there, and insulates the families financially.
Yeah, we should definitely talk later on after this. I'd love to.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you came in, Ryan, and please stick around with us. And that's just one more, key core ingredient and true testament in terms of what we're continuing to build out here at Studio 110.live's headquarters and FutureNet. And you can definitely, Ryan all the time is always posting things on social media on how you can be connected up with us, and just how the profit margins are so strong. So it's definitely something to definitely be watching and liking. Every day as you because everybody's on their social. People are in business meetings on their social. I mean, it's not something that we can hide from anymore. And if we're hiding from it, then I don't think there's too many of us. I mean, we see proof that Instagram is surpassing Facebook for well causes. For the appropriate reasons. Just because more video placements, and people want to see more of just. Those 25 to 30 second videos, they want to feel it. They want to be able to, connect with those vibes. And then Facebook, you can do a Facebook Live, obviously, but Instagram, I think, definitely has more of a pulse in terms of kind of.
Oh, yeah. Marketing is heading very, very strongly into Instagram and stuff. People are realizing, how much people pay attention to that more than they pay attention to anything else.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, shout out to you for getting behind that movement, and Seattle has also been put on the map over the course of the past few years, where where the homeless population is definitely on the rise. We see it a lot more here than we do in other cities, and
it's definitely interesting seeing why it happens here. So because we're one of the biggest tech hubs of the United States, and yet we still have we're the number 3 in the problem area. And a lot of it has to do with housing laws and stuff like that. A lot of the incentives for building affordable housing kind of went away. So why not build condominiums that can sell for $1 million when you make money that way, and you're not going to make money off of doing affordable housing. So nobody's going to want to do it anymore. So the laws need to be looked at and kind of brought back to what's better for our society around here where we're at right now to
Yep.
make it, to fix our problems and
Yeah.
stuff. So if you look, we're hoping to have the documentary out like towards the end of the summer, and it's
Great.
called Homeless in Seattle.
Great. And if we have an opportunity, I'd like to team up on that forefront too, you and Annie, to be able to debut that here too,
Oh, I
on
love
my
that.
show. I think it'd be a good partnership. I'm all about it. And the appropriate shout out in correlation and conjunction with what we're talking about in terms of the homeless population here in the Northwest, but just on a national level as well. Mary's Place, Mary's Place
Yeah.
is a great organization here locally. They do Runway to, they attach their branding and their efforts to, Runway to Freedom, which is a really good production that goes on once a year here in Seattle. Macklemore's come out for it. I know you've been out for it, Annie. I've showed up and supported. And, when you're out there and you're hearing, the speeches of the real, testimonial occurrences that really do happen. And a lot of these do, it's kind of that combined between, the DV realm and then, the homeless, and how
Yeah.
it can starts with DV, but then can ultimately lead to, being homeless. And
Totally.
so I've been able to do as much as I can to be able to devote some time and some volunteer work and
That's
to go out
amazing.
and support Mary's Place. And shout out to my friend Lauren Grinnell, who is a local, one of the main local people here in the community that heads that big project up every year. So, like I said, shout out to you, Jeremiah, and of course Annie for taking that on. And I don't think it's anything that we can ignore or be able to just say, like we've conquered it, we've
Yeah.
fulfilled our
Yeah.
mission. It's a growing issue, and we see tent cities all over the city. And one thing that people, I'm sure they do realize, but this is a city that definitely stands behind the grid that no one should go hungry. So
Yeah.
there are a lot of opportunities for these people to be able to eat, and it's up to them if they want to fulfill those needs.
Yeah, definitely.
Just-
I'd like to really quickly give a shout out to the kid, the director of the homeless documentary that had this out, Sana. Like I said, 18 years old. She's a senior in the school over in Redmond.
Okay.
And to have a kid that young have a passion to fix society and help, like, bring awareness,
Yeah.
like that's what we need to be raising in our society is the generation that wants to step up and say, let's fix these problems, let's do something about this, let's not just talk about it, let's find a solution.
Yep.
I think that's what's going to be big about, like, making change is actually like bringing up a generation that will do something about it.
Yeah, exactly. 100%. What were you going to say, Annie?
Oh, I was just going to say there's so many different areas in need. There's so many different nonprofits. I mean, we could talk an entire lifetime about homelessness. We could talk about foster children, cancer survivors, young children sick at the hospital. I think what the real bottom line issue is there are a lot of people out there that want to help. There's a lot of people that want to make a difference.
Yeah.
It's just, honestly, it's overwhelming.
Yep.
It's very overwhelming to know, where do you start?
Yeah.
Yes, you can get awareness, but it's actually, yes, like what you're saying, is doing something about it.
Yeah.
And that's why we try to not pinpoint just one type of organization or charity. It's all the different causes where there's a need. And if you want to get involved and you want to help make a difference, and you're like the majority of the rest of us where you just don't know how, yes, you can give money, but sometimes people don't have the money to give. They want to give time. They want to give resources. That's why we get together once a month for all of us to come together to help and plan different attacks of how we're going to get involved. And I think that's one of the biggest issues, is that we have an amazing community.
Yep.
There's a lot of amazing communities. It's just a matter of figuring out where to get started.
And how can people team up and be involved? What's the platform? What's the recipe for people to be able to take part in the good faith and the good organization that you guys are teaming up with to continue to tackle the homeless problem that we have here in the Northwest?
Definitely messaging and emailing Talk It Up TV. Like, everybody, people come to me and ask, like, hey, how do I get involved? Because I see you doing amazing things. I'm like, well, the things that we do, a lot of it runs through Talk It Up TV.
And I can tell you, so the first Tuesday of every single month, we meet over at the Hyatt in Bellevue.
Okay.
We meet in the lobby right where 13 Coins entrance is. So from 7 to 9 p.m., if you want to get involved, you can also hashtag TIU Army. That stands for Talk It Up TV Army. That's everybody who wants to just get involved, and you'll find other feeds and posts of more information. We have a Facebook group also for events committee and people that want to get involved and want to help out, and that's a great spot to start.
Great.
To go there and get the information of where to go to be a part of things.
There you go. Let's talk about, moving on here, because I want to make sure we get through all the important topics. There's so much to talk about today, but, passing on knowledge of creative skills to other passionate people.
Oh, definitely. It's kind of interesting because, like, when I started in film in, like, 2005, I started weirdly, like, on the top rung and then worked my way down. And I started producing and realized I wanted to be more the creative, hands-on type person, and I was really lucky that I had a lot of amazing people that were working with me that kind of took me under their wing and showed me how to do things, like creative directors and stuff like that. Showed me how to do the proper way of filmmaking, the proper way of directing and everything. And one of my favorite people that I worked with, he said, "You know what? Everything, just pass it on."
Yeah.
He's like, make sure that you pass on everything that you learn, because not everybody can go to film school. Not everybody gets everything out of film school, but everybody will learn from each other, teaching each other. And so it was amazing. Like, it's true, because like you learn from masters, right?
Yep.
You become a master by studying with a master and actually learning with a master. And then what do you all you can do is turn around and keep passing that on. And that's how stories throughout history have been passed on, just people passing it on and on and on.
Yep.
So I love doing that with when people come and ask, like, hey, can I mentor under you? It's like, yes, please.
We've taken a lot of
please.
interns as well from the colleges.
Great.
So
Art Institute, I know, has a lot of them, right? Art Institute of Seattle locally and University of Washington, Bellevue College.
Definitely. And it just and it becomes a collaboration too, because like you have these passionate artists working around you that are up and coming and learning from you, and then they become masters at their own crafts and stuff, and then everybody starts working together. And I was just talking with a friend of mine, Brent Berry, who runs Shokan Media, and he is an incredible VFX artist, and he is starting to do a lot of filmmaking and editing and stuff. But his where he shines like no other is VFX work. Yeah. And we all work collaboratively together. Yeah. And we have a lot of people. Michael Clevin, he's one of the best location sound guys in Seattle. And we all, like, anytime we're doing a project or working on something or a passion piece that we want to help out on, we call these people up and like, hey, can you come out and help out on this? Like, and without hesitation, yes. So you have a lot of high professionals that have like come up and learned off of each other and everything, just helping each other out, which allows you to help out other artists and give them something that they not always could afford. Yeah.
As big as Seattle is, we're very small still in a tight-knit community when it comes to local artists. There's so much collaboration and so many people working together. Everybody in this industry knows each other. Yeah. And half of them, haven't even gone to school. It's just learning from the trade or being involved in it. And so much from getting things from mentors and stuff.
Yeah. I didn't go to film school. A lot of people think I did. Yeah. They're like, "Where'd you go to film school at?" I didn't. I learned from people. Yeah. Like and
it suited you well. You've done well, and you saved a lot of money probably by not having to go to film school.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. Let's touch on the kind of the aerial side of the cinematography business as well. I'm definitely interested to talk about that.
Oh, it's back.
Drone master.
Back in the day, before drones had become a thing in the U.S. Actually, it just barely had started creeping its way into the U.S. It was actually kind of big over in Europe, and it was when DJI came out with their first Phantom drone that held the GoPro and everything. I happened to see a YouTube video of this guy talking about this Phantom, and I was like, oh my god, I don't know anybody in the Northwest that has one. So I ordered one, and I did a test shot like just to see what would happen. So it was end of a short competition, because I mean that's the best way to do things is like film competitions.
Sure,
like test stuff out. If it doesn't work, it's okay.
Yeah.
We just did this test shot where we had the drone like in front of the people while they're walking on Alki Beach, and then we just started going up and up and up and just kept going until you could see all of West Seattle and all of Seattle, and we were rolling the credits there. A lot of people thought at first it was just a handheld shot. Oh, wait, no, it's got to be a crane shot. How the hell are they getting it that high up in the air? It couldn't have been a helicopter shot. So the audience went crazy. And I was like, I am going to specialize in this right there. Like, that's what I'm going to do. So I jumped on it and started getting into the drone industry and kind of using my company to specialize in that and camera stabilization and stuff. So ended up getting a big octocopter and everything that carries a red camera, and now the technology it's flowing so fast, keeping up with the technology that's out there. We shoot a lot on our DJI Inspire 2, a lot of commercial stuff, a lot of TV, and then the Octo, like it's expensive to take out and fly, but it's the price of being one of the first people in the industry, because now it's a dinosaur. It's like you're experimenting with it and you're seeing what happens. You put a lot of money into it, and all of a sudden it refines and refines and refines. But it's amazing because I love flying. I love flying, and
He's incredible at it.
And Tess Stewart, she operates the camera. My fiance operates the camera, and she's a camera person herself. She actually is a really good director of photography. She has an eye for shots that I swear to God surpasses me.
Yeah.
And so I don't even think about what she's doing. She just does her thing while I give space to the camera with the drone. And so we make a beautiful team. So you get these shots that are incredible. And like we love going out and helping out projects, helping out other productions and stuff that, like, again, can't always afford our full day rate and stuff with aerial cinematography. So it's like, it's again, artists helping artists and having fun and like creating content that is incredible.
The proper collaborations. What does one of these things cost? What is just in terms of the actual device, but then what does it cost to be able to fly it to get the full advantage out of it?
Our Inspire 2, it was $6,000.
About 6,000.
Yeah, about 6,000 for the whole setup and everything. And commercially, our day rate it's well into over. I'm not going to say exactly what it is. It's over $1,000 a day.
Well, like it should be too. I mean, there's a lot that goes into it. So.
It's well over that. But we also have independent rates and stuff. Like people reach out and it's like, I really want this one shot or something for my short film or for a music video or something. And like, if we're not booked, yes, we'll be out there to do it for you.
That's
like
great.
We love supporting local productions and stuff like that, because we also do a lot of work on. I mean, God, we work with History Channel, Discovery Channel, DIY Network, Lifetime. We just picked up Lifetime, and so especially during the summer months, it keeps us very busy.
Yeah, and what's the height that one of these drones can in terms of elevation?
So legally, we can go 400 feet, depending on where you're at too. You got to look at the maps, like the flight maps and stuff of the area. So depending on how close you are to different either military zones or different airports or whatever, but in general, 400 feet. And what a lot of people don't know is, like, if you're up close to a building that's more than 400 feet, that zone becomes 400 feet above that building. Above the tallest point. So it's 400 feet above the tallest point when you're in the vicinity of something like that. So, but the technology is ridiculous. You can literally take them like a mile. I've had mine out over the water about almost a whole mile, where I could just barely see the speck on the horizon.
That's great
out there. But
it looks so cool.
Yeah,
it's incredible what you can do.
Because I know people have gone into a little bit of hot water, flying them over Seahawks games and Mariner games, and I know.
You gotta be careful flying over crowds, though. It's not. You gotta.
But that's some incredible footage. Yeah, that's some incredible footage though overall to be able to capture those types of especially in a Seahawks game. You got 70,000 people screaming in there. I mean,
Yeah.
what's better audio than that?
And it's good footage, but you need to make sure you have the proper permits and you know what you're doing. That's why it's
you
important to
definitely do.
deal with someone like Jeremiah, because then you know it's being
We
handled.
have our
in a lot of trouble.
333 exemption from the FAA, and we have our 107 licensing for our pilots and everything. So like we're covered every direction possible, and we still every once in a while have to jump through hoops to get permission to fly a certain area. And hey, you have to work with timing and everything. We might need to fly at a certain day. No, we got to wait until they allow us to fly. It's all about being safe with it, though. That's the thing.
Right.
That's what's most important to us. Is like we want to make sure that we are absolutely 100% safe.
Yeah, safety is the most important thing, anytime. And I have the utmost confidence that when you take your toys out, that there's never any issues. Like, because that there's people probably like to push it a little bit, but those are the people that probably need to do some proper studying in terms of what you can do and what you can't do when you're operating a drone. Annie, a couple of things I wanted to touch on here before you guys carry on for the afternoon. Let's talk about nightlife in Seattle. There's plenty of new destinations opening up. I know there's a new one that just opened up next to the Sarajevo Lounge. I forgot the name of it, but I haven't been there, but I've heard about it.
Is it Aura?
Is it Aura? Is that what it's called? Okay, Aura. I don't know. Have you been there? I haven't been there yet.
I actually have not been there yet.
I haven't been there yet either. But what is your pulse? What are your thoughts on nightlife in Seattle currently?
Mm-hmm. Well, I feel that the East Side has a little bit more the loungy type areas where you can go hang out with dance music and still have fun at all kinds of ages. Seattle is kind of more a younger age if you want to go out to the real nightlife. They have a lot of clubs, like Foundation, Aston Manor, and places like that, where a lot of their audience is a younger crowd. Yeah. So it gets to be in that middle area, the older you get, and we're not old by all means, but
early 20s. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. More fun than two of you.
And we've never had to go see a dermatologist or anything,
no.
like cosmetic dermatology, nothing. I mean, big shout out to my best friend, Daniel Levy. He's my oldest, closest friend. Pretty much talk every single day to him, but I don't want to take any.
Help me, Daniel.
I don't want to take any business away from
help a girl out
from good old Dr. Levy. So
it just depends on what kind of night scene you're looking for, and if you want to go out dancing where you don't want to maybe have a lot of conversation, it's going to be really loud music. Then those are the places in the Seattle area that you're going to want to attend. But Seattle is also known for an incredible, gorgeous rooftop bars.
I was just going to say, I love the rooftops. I like the one, that hotel on Thompson.
There's Thompson Hotel, there's Frolic, and there's also M Bar, which is amazing.
I haven't heard about M Bar.
M Bar is wonderful. It overlooks South Lake Union.
Oh, okay.
And it is absolutely gorgeous. They have an inside and they have an outside, and they have blankets and heaters. But at days like this, it's just stunning, and it overlooks all of South Lake Union, so it's just absolutely gorgeous. Thompson, you're going to see the view of the water. But M-Bar, you're going to see a view of also the Space Needle. Yeah. Frolic is great because they always are having DJs there. So there's always music and entertainment, and they have like games and stuff like that you can play outside with, they have the fire pits. And so it's really nice. So they'll have the music, but you can also still talk. But a lot of the later night scenes are going to be more the club styles, and it just depends on if you're into that kind of stuff or not. If not, you go over to the east side with the W.
I was just going to say, I love the W. It's one of our neighbors here, close to where we broadcast from here at Studio 110.live and good old Sweet. Sweet is always a good destination spot on a weekend.
It's been popular forever.
Yep. Good shout out to I can't remember. I know the owner over at Sweet.
And Parlor.
Keith. Yep.
Parlor now also in Bellevue. They're getting a lot of bands there. They have some really fun 80s bands. I just went to some of the 80s bands concerts, and then obviously they have the comedy shows there. But they've got a nightlife going on there as well, and. So it's just all over the place, but it just really depends on your age and what you're looking for, what group you're hanging out with.
So for all the people, that don't think there's anything fun to do in Seattle and it rains every day, if you could see outside today is a true example of it's not raining. It's sunny out, and
it's beautiful.
one place that I like to go to on Monday nights, and I always try to shout them out on Mondays, is the West Seattle Bowling Alley. They do bowling down there on Monday nights, and $1 bowling games on Monday nights. So
Score.
you can bowl for 8 hours and $8. So go to the garage on Capitol Hill. I love the garage. I like going up there, but that tab will be a couple $100, if you spend a couple hours in there.
It's pricey.
So I want to thank you guys for coming in. The only other thing that I wanted to suggest to you is I know you like to collaborate and work with different bands on the video side, and I don't know if you've ever done any work with them, but there's a band called Hit Explosion. They do a bunch of Hit Explosion.
Hit Explosion. Okay.
They do a bunch of the University Village Outdoor Mall in Seattle here, one of our outdoor malls. They do kind of their music festival, so that there would be a band that they got very good traction here locally.
Nice.
And off the air, offline, I could connect you up with a point of contact,
love that.
and they would be a good band for you guys to work with and team up with, and
that would be awesome.
yeah, Hit Explosion. It's a good band. Well, if I don't happen to come crash your party,
No, you're going to be there.
for your big celebration
Waiting for this.
at the secret location. I wish you a very happy 24th birthday.
Yes.
And
thank you.
much success for you on the horizon for Talk It Up TV and the platforms that you guys partner up with that do so well together. And I'm looking forward to having you guys back in the studio soon to talk about some of these up and coming events and causes that we can collaborate with, where you can come in and play co-host with me. You can come in and
That sounds
co-host
fun.
and two co-host.
That would be awesome.
Any remaining? My next guest is supposed to be calling in any second. Any remaining shout outs that we want to give to anybody before we wrap it up?
Well, Tess at home.
Tess.
She's part of our team.
Oh,
and
she's a
Jasmine and the whole TIU army.
Yeah.
There you go.
I love you guys.
There you go. Any other shout outs?
There's so many people.
Well,
I honestly just the whole independent and the whole Seattle film industry. There's so many amazing people in there, like David Burns, Tyler Jones, Michael Clevin, Brent Berry. Like the list just continues to go on. I could list.
Thank you to the
300 people.
whole Seattle film
Thank
community.
you to the whole Seattle film community.
And thank you guys too for having us on here and wanting to even talk about these topics
Yeah.
and
of course,
make a difference.
Of course, you can't ignore topics like this because you don't want to be behind the curtain with initiatives and structurally putting these things into place. Like I said, on a continuous basis here, because they need to be spoken about. They need to be brought up in conversations like this platform at Studio 110.live. So I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your afternoon.
Definitely
Thank you for coming in, and my show producer Erica will show you guys out the studio here, and I'll look forward to having you guys back in here in the near future. So
Look
Thank
forward
you.
to it.
thank you very much. I appreciate you guys coming in. Until the next guest calls in, I do want to talk about the good old Laugh Your Ass Off. I love the name. I had a little bit of something to do with it. Laugh Your Ass Off with Icons of Comedy. Tickets are officially on sale right now. You can go to the Showware Center box office. You can call them. You can hit them up on their website. It's going to be June 30th at the Showware Center in Kent. We got Bill Bellamy, D. Ray Davis. We got Dion Cole, Ada Rodriguez, Marlon Waynes, Melanie Camacho. And this is going to be a great, fun comedy show at its finest. So you're not going to want to miss this great opportunity to come out and support some great comedians who do what they do the best, who get up there and ultimately put you in tears. So that's always an exciting opportunity to team up with my guys here, all the guys that have been working so hard behind the scenes to make these events shine the way they need to. We're all about selling events out and bringing the appropriate talent into place to be able to do that. I'm excited. I'm told that my buddy Anthony Hamilton will be calling into my show here. He just won the big fight at Snoqualmie Casino against his opponent. I knew he'd kick ass, Randy Garza, at the Snoqualmie Casino this past Saturday. He had a big after party at his house that I would have liked to attend, but I had other business that I had to handle. And it was a good, vibrant, busy weekend. This past weekend here in the Northwest, we had Snoop Dogg here, we had Migos here, we had a great event here at Studio 110.live's headquarters. So let's see if we can get my buddy Anthony here on the line with us, and we will try to get him on here. We'll put up the proper knobs and bolts here in the studio and see if we can get Anthony here. We'll call him here live on the air.
Please leave your message for 2.
Well, maybe he's calling me on the other line. Maybe we're doing the same thing. So we will wait for his call. I'm told that I also have another guest calling into the big show, Jason, and maybe his partner in crime, Jamal from the High Children. They've got a big event, a big concert coming up at a local establishment this Thursday. So we will. It's called Substation. So we will talk about that show, and I think there's still some tickets available for that. So looking forward to having those guys on to call in. A couple of shout-outs before I forget. Normally I don't have time on shows to be able to do shout-outs, but a couple people that always are faithful viewers and listeners. DJ Nasty Ness down in Los Angeles, and my boy Izzy in New York, and Jamie in Los Angeles, Steve also in New York, my buddy Aton in Miami, just so many people, Louis and the whole crew down in Puyallup, an area south of an area where we broadcast the show from here in downtown Bellevue, Studio 110.live. And also looking forward, if I have time, to have my show producer on with me today to talk about the big event happening up here at Studio 110.live, our big launch party here for my new show here, Studio 110.live. I'm told we have some multiple surprise happening into place. Some people, I guess, flying in to come up and support my party and the big event here at Studio 110.live, and DJs and artists performing, and it's going to be catered and drinks, and I'm told it's going to be a pretty big production, 200 people plus is what I'm told. So I'm really looking forward to this coming Saturday to be able to meet a lot of people and to be able to have some fun and talk to people. Before Erica, if you can hop on this mic here for me before. She's looks like she has to handle some in-studio business outside of the studio. I wanted to talk to her about because I wasn't at the big fight this past Saturday at Snoqualmie Casino, but that's why I wanted Anthony to be able to call in. Maybe he's doing another interview, or maybe he's doing something, but. It'll be good to get Anthony on here when he is available. We'll keep the phones in proper attendance. So if he calls, we won't miss his call. Like I said, some interesting music news happening today. Lil Wayne was on a show on a stage recently at a show, and this was in I want to say this was in Australia. Where he really kind of got deep and personal with a lot of listeners and his fan base at this show, and he talked about he talked about how if you ultimately kind of piss off artists and throw things on stage, what can happen on the back end, and I get where he's coming from. I mean, look, no artist wants to ever feel like they're in in danger in any way, shape, or form when they're up there performing. And, you do hear that it's becoming more and more of an occurrence where people like to throw things up there and cause issues. So, Lil Wayne came out and said, so let me know, let me let you all know where I'm from. I think y'all need to know what the stage is about and what the stage represents. You don't end up throwing things on stage because all my guys at the end of the day do have pistols, and they don't know who to really shoot at. So if you throw something else, I'm going to be more safe and be the bigger person and just leave because I don't want to kill everybody. So that's coming from TMZ in partnership with Lil Wayne at that show. Lil Wayne also went on to discuss it a little bit further, and he said, like he said, he has to look out for other artists, and he says a lot of artists today don't feel comfortable coming out and making those types of gestures and announcements, and having the proper stage presence to be able to deliver these types of key messaging into speaking to people. So I do give Lil Wayne credit for coming out and taking the initiative and the opportunity to speak to his fans on the good old TMZ live feed right now. Not much really to report on the entertainment side today. Of course, we talked about the passing of Avicii, and that happened on Friday, and that was definitely a very unfortunate. Only 28 years old, an icon in the EDM dance scene. So it's definitely a loss. Speaking of Avicii, there are some interesting new developments. Avicii's friends and family members feared the superstar's drinking problem would catch up to him in the months leading up to his death. Sources close to the DJ do tell TMZ his alcoholism he battled for so many years had recently gotten out of control, and those around him were concerned it would ultimately kill him. Avicii suffered from pancreatitis, the inflammation of the organ, and made worse by heavily absorbing alcohol consumption recently. We talked about how it kind of went down to a degree. He was photographed on a yacht in Muscat, Oman, just a day before his death, with what appeared to be an alcoholic beverage in his hand. Autopsies were conducted on Avicii's body both Friday and Saturday. An official cause of death has not yet been released, but cops say there is no indication of foul play. So it's good to hear at least there was no foul play involved in the passing of Avicii. Only 28 years old, had a life full ahead of him, and just so many talents to be able to deliver to his fan base all around the world. And I was meeting with a couple people last night, and one of the guys that I was with happened to meet him and knew him to a degree, and he said that one issue that he did battle, and this is real, this is definitely a real occurrence, is the amount of money that he made. He made the money so rapidly. I think it was, if I'm not mistaken, it was, I believe, $88 million he never would have expected the amount of money that he made to happen so rapidly and so quickly. And they're saying that maybe part of that did kind of have to do with depression, and he just wasn't prepared to become the star that he was and how rapidly that went into place. So once again, our sincerest condolences and thoughts to Avicii and his family. It must be just a terrible time to have to be going through at his home base, which is in America, even though he was overseas at the time. Right now, I'm told that I've got Anthony Hamilton on the line with me. Mr. Hamilton, are you there?
I am. How are you, sir?
How are you? I was excited to have you call in to talk about your huge victory that went down, that went into place like we all predicted. We never had a doubt in our mind at the Snoqualmie Casino this past Saturday. I apologize, I could not be there, but my show producer Erica and other people reached out to me. My phone was in my pocket, practically around my hand the entire night, just wanting the great news that my boy Anthony, my friend Anthony Hamilton, took care of business and, got out of that ring and went back to the house for the after party. That's pretty much what it boils down to.
Yeah, man. It was an awesome experience. It was great to have all these folks on hand for the victory, and the after party was cool, man. I had a lot of people come through and hang out, and it was a good time.
I'm told that you took care of business, and was it five rounds?
Yeah, I ended up finishing the fight in the beginning of the second round.
Okay.
Again, this kid was pretty tough. He came to fight. I knew he was coming in there to, he wasn't coming in there to lose. He was coming in to win, and so, he put up a pretty good fight. Had me hurt at one point at the end of the first, and but I was able, to rally back and secure a submission victory in the second.
And talk about since I wasn't there, what was the exact move that went into place to throw him down and for you to exit the ring and declare a win?
I hit him with the double leg takedown, and then just started working some submissions. I have a little choke that I do from the top that I was working, and it was working pretty good. And he ended up rolling over and giving me his back, and so I secured a rear naked choke and was able to finish the fight there.
And how long was he down for? Obviously, you were probably out. You're not there to play paramedic, so how long was he down on the ground for before he was pretty much crying for help?
He was down there for a minute or so until he ended up tapping, but it was just a matter of time. He was either going to go to sleep or he was going to have to give up. It was one of the two.
And how are you feeling right now, my friend? How do you feel a couple of days after? I'm sure you've gone through some proper massages and some proper treatment to get you. Not that you needed to, but it probably felt good, right?
Yeah. No, I feel great. I'm ready to get back to training, maybe even tonight if I can. I got a few things to take care of this week, but if I can get back to training tonight or tomorrow, that'd be great. I was supposed to head to Mexico this weekend with the family, so get a little rest there, but I'm trying to keep the ball rolling, man, and see what we can get into here in the next few months for a fight.
What were some lessons that you picked up for this particular opponent? And it's probably, we don't even really need to mention his name right now, but because the focus is Anthony Hamilton. But what are some things that you picked up and you learned from this opponent and this opportunity for you just to cause pure destruction in the cage at Snoqualmie Casino that you'll be able to apply and adapt to future upcoming fights?
I think the biggest thing is, I didn't mention this before, but I had a back surgery in February, and so I kept that pretty quiet. I didn't want anybody to know. The UFC had sent me to get the back surgery, and so I got that done. So I only had really about 8 weeks to train for this fight. So I think the lesson learned would be to make sure I'm in the best shape possible. I was a little bit heavier than I wanted to be for this fight, so that kind of slows you down a little bit, and it kind of prohibits you from using all the cardio that you want to use in a situation like that. So going forward, I just want to make sure I'm 100% healthy and 100% ready to go. And I think that'll help me going forward. The rest of the stuff is just details, be a little sharper here, a little sharper there, and the rest will take care of itself.
Well, I hope, you did talk about it a few times, and you said that this may possibly be your last opponent, your last fight, and I really hope it's not, because I would love the opportunity to be able to be sitting front row at the next takedown and the next destruction that goes into place, whether it be Snoqualmie Casino or wherever it's going to be. I want to come out and support my friend Anthony, so I'm hoping that you'll take that into consideration and not go into retirement after this last destruction.
You kill it.
No. I think this. I was standing there in the cage, and I'm pretty sure that we got more left in the tank, at least for a little while. A year or two would be great. I just want to push it as far as I can push it, and as long as this body will let me do it, man, I'll be out there. And so going forward, I hope to get another one maybe by June, and I'll have some tickets ready for you, man, whenever you want to make the trip.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I'll have to bring out my show producer, Erica, and the staff here, my staff at Studio 110.live. Let's talk about the after party. How many people ended up coming to the house to support the big victory and the big destruction?
Oh, man, we live in a fairly, it's brand new neighborhood, so it wasn't showing up on a lot of people's GPS searches, so they're having trouble finding it. But we had probably about 70 people that did find the house, so it was crazy, man. It was nice to have all these different people out there, and we just moved in like 2 weeks ago, so it wasn't all the way set up, but yeah, we had a good time. We had I have an outdoor fireplace. So everybody was outside on next to the fireplace, and had a bar in the inside, so everybody was drinking. It was a good time.
You better do that again, because I got lost like bad, and then lost all reception out there.
I apologize. Yeah,
okay.
I ended up seeing your message the next day, so I'm sorry about that. But yeah, definitely going forward, we'll have more parties this summer, and
Good.
yeah, hopefully more victory parties.
There you go. Well, I don't want to take too much of your time. I know probably you have a lot on your plate. You probably have a lot of press to talk to, and you have a lot of conditioning to do. Not that you need to do it, but just to get yourself back to your normal everyday state, Anthony Hamilton. And for all the people that are just tuning into the big show right now, Studio110.live. I've got my friend Anthony Hamilton on the line, calling in to the big show today. I wouldn't have asked him to come in, especially after a big fight like this, because I probably wouldn't even be able to get out of bed if I was an Anthony Hamilton. So I do appreciate you calling in and allowing myself to ask you some questions and really kind of get the proper vantage point and overall picture of what went down.
Oh, yeah, man. Hey, thank you so much for having me on, man. It's always a pleasure to chat with you guys. And, yeah, man, I can't wait for the next one. I hope you guys will be around for it.
Of course, yeah, we'll definitely be around. I'll make sure we're around. And you always know that you've got a great home here at Studio110.live, Anthony. And if we don't speak before you go on your little mini vacation, safe travels. And we'll be in contact, and be good to have you stop by the studio when you get back.
Sounds good, brother. Thank you.
Thank you, Anthony.
Thanks, Anthony.
That was Anthony Hamilton, the big UFC fighter that took care of business at the Snoqualmie Casino. And Erica, my show producer, you were out there. You witnessed the destruction happen right in front of your eyes at the big fight. Talk about, did you have good seats?
Yeah, I actually sat with the medical assistants that were there that were kind of handling, the destruction that was brought to them by every of one of their opponents and stuff like that. So that was really cool. But I was blown away by how fast the fight lasted with Anthony. And I don't know why my mic just kind of went down. I can't hear myself now.
Oh, I can hear you. I just brought the volume down. I can hear you. Go ahead and talk.
Okay.
Yeah, I can hear you.
So yeah, it was quite an amazing sight to actually see that live. And it's kind of funny because I actually thought it was like the first round, and then I just realized like it was done. I was like, wow.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, that's
that was definitely the shortest fight out of everybody that was there that night that was, fighting. It was crazy.
That's what a true, that's what a true professional does. I mean,
and he said he was hurt too. That's crazy. This guy was like, it almost looked like Anthony had to have some time out there just to make people like kind of rile up people, but it literally looked like he just shut him down the minute that he could. It was crazy.
And I knew he would. And you were like my main outlet. I'm sure you were seeing the text messages just funnel through. Like, has my buddy Anthony caused destruction? Is his opponent face first down on the ground, crying for a paramedic to come and ultimately help him out? So I'm glad that was the outcome. I was so confident that I knew that would be the outcome. And shout out to everybody at the Snoqualmie Casino that worked so hard to get that production into place. And I'm so happy that he won. He deserved it, and it just continues to put Mr. Anthony Hamilton on the map like he deserves to be. What else went down in Erica's world this past weekend? What else did you happen to come across?
I don't know what you're trying to bring up here.
No, I'm just talking about what else did you do like on Friday night, or what did you do yesterday? I mean, it was fairly nice weather this weekend. So
okay.
I'm guessing that you probably weren't twiddling your thumb in your bedroom, just bored, trying to figure something out to do. So.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so Friday I did the firefighter event with Nini.
Yeah. So tell me about that.
It was amazing. Everybody was just so grateful and so thankful that we were there, and they really got to truly share their stories that that they had to go through in order to get kind of where they were. And, you know, the training that these firemen have to undergo, sometimes it's like, it's very dangerous, you know?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and it was really cool. Like we thought that it was just going to be like not few, but it was packed. We were working our butts off. There was probably about like, I want to say probably close to 300 people or so. So for just a firefighter event, like it was pretty packed. It was crazy.
Now you seem, and I'm not going to like, you know, I keep it very professional on this show and around the business office, but you do seem like you might be the type that might be into firemen. So were any phone numbers exchanged at the gala, at the ball on Friday night? I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if you said yes or no. So.
You know, it's kind of funny that you say that because I do a lot of promos and I do a lot of kind of work where I am, you know, supposed to interact with certain people, but I always try to keep it professional.
Good.
Because once you have that image and you are exchanging numbers and all that, then it gets to a certain point where they start expecting you to like provide more drinks, or you start to, and yeah, you flirt a little bit and whatever, you know, but I never try to get too close to the people that I'm, you know, working with, because that's not a professional look.
But see, this was a loaded question, and as yeah, it was a loaded question because as you can remember, on Friday afternoon, I told you that I would like to have some firemen on the show. So how can we get them on the show if we're not exchanging phone numbers with them?
Okay.
See how I think here? I wasn't asking about your dating life. I was asking about if phone numbers were established to be able to get some of the fine men and women who are local firefighters around the community who go on 911 calls and who are saving people's lives and putting out fires on this show here at Studio 110.live.
Oh, okay. So actually, yes. So
Good.
The guy, Brad, who brought us in, he is the main guy that overlooks all of the firefighter men.
Good.
So I talked to him about Studio 110, gave him our business cards, told them that we'd love to feature them on the show. And he said, absolutely. Like, we look forward to speaking with you and meeting Dirty Harry. And so, yeah, they're definitely excited about coming on the show and, you know, being able to really promote themselves and what they do. And
because they do their calendars and they do other, like, you know, food drives where you see firemen holding their boots out at intersections and people drive by and they put the cash and coins in the boots. And, you know, for the young ladies out there, it's, you know, it's exciting for them to be able to shake hands with the firemen, because a lot of people, you know, don't have those opportunities. So it's a good one-on-one connection and much success and gratitude to all the men and women, not only here locally, but nationally and internationally, that go out there and put the uniform on every day and get on the fire truck and go to 911 calls, because it could be anything from a cat, literally, you know, a little dumb. I'm not a big fan of cats, but I'll be honest when it comes time to cats. I'm just not a huge fan of cats. But, you know, look, cats, I get that cats have to be rescued out of trees. So everybody always jokes that, you know, is that all they do? They just go and light sirens, horns to rescue a cat. No, there's a lot more to it than that. So
exactly.
So I'm glad that went well. And then Saturday, it sounds like you prepared for the big fight at the Snoqualmie Casino. It sounds like that was a fun experience overall.
It was wonderful.
And then what happened on your last day off before you came back to the office and I made you work so hard here? So,
well, the event was really, really, really great. I thought I was going to be going by myself entirely because.
And you didn't want, and I'm going to interrupt you.
I knew you were going to do that.
Yes. Oh yeah, of course I'm going to do it. So.
Wow.
Well, no. I'm going to keep it. I'm in a nice mood today, so I'm going to keep it within line.
Oh
but
my gosh.
I will say that when I was talking to you, you called me and you said, you know, Dirty Harry, I don't want to sit by myself. And I said, you know, you're probably not going to sit by yourself. You know, like, unless you had some luxury box seats, you know, where it was just Erica in a box by herself, you know, the $1 million seats. It probably wasn't going to happen. So, of course, you know, Taya was there and Taya's friend was there. So you were able to sit with those, you know, fine people. But then...
Shout out to Taya and Carrot. You guys killed it in the ring.
Yeah. So, and then you happened to embark in your own seats. And it sounds like it was a good, happy, festive, moment. But don't you give me some credit where I pushed you?
Yes, and Harris, I give you all the credit.
Yeah, I mean, like you should. I told you, I said, go to this event. And you said, no, like, I don't have anybody to go with. I don't want to sit by myself. And just properly, in a respectful way, tell me by you going to this event, like, because your face is glowing today. So, something happened. Something happened. So just give me the Cliff Note version of what happened. Yeah.
Okay, well, hopefully he's not watching this.
Well, I hope he is. So I hope he
You
is.
brat.
Yeah.
Okay, so oh gosh, I was sitting next to some medical assistants, and there was a doctor there that I was sitting right next to. It was kind of funny because I actually got placed between like one of the assistants and then the doctor. But the assistant and the doctor were sitting right next to each other, and then I left and then came back, and like they put me in the middle. So I was like, okay, like I was obviously very attracted to him. So I was like, all right. So I started like networking because that's what I do. You know, I'm there as a press representative for Studio 110.
So you had the
Had
badge
my
on?
badge.
You had the badge?
Absolutely.
Good,
Had
good,
my
good,
badge. You know,
good.
gotta be official. I even had a camera.
Good.
I was using Taya's camera. She let me use all her camera to take pictures and videos and
Well,
everything.
we have multiple cameras of our own, but it's nice that Taya let you use her camera.
Well, because I actually did not remember to bring the studio camera.
That's all right. That's all right.
And
So-
I had to be professional and legit with my camera.
Yeah,
So, anyway, so I was sitting there and, you know, exchanging contact information, talking to the guys, asking them what they do, just general networking, you know, very, very professional. And then it got to a few questions where there was a little bit of flirting involved.
And what was the one question that he asked you or you asked him that just that made you literally glow like literally like the sun outside today on this day outside of the studio here today? Like, what was the magical question that opened up this elaborate conversation? You don't even remember, huh? You don't remember? Was that meaningful? Is it so unforgettable?
Well, there was a lot of meaningful things. So he started asking me about like where I grew up and where I was from, and started talking about kind of like asking me about my life. And I was like, well, if you knew like a lot about my life, like you would find out a lot. And he was like, really? Tell me more.
Tell me more.
You know, it's really funny. On my Snapchat, I actually was recording the fight, and we literally are talking in the background. It's pretty hilarious, actually. I was like, oh my gosh. Like the whole time I'm recording, you can hear us talking in the background.
So when am I going to have the opportunity to approve or not approve your new?
Do not say that. Okay, I have not dated anybody in a year and a half.
No, I want to meet this guy that you're talking about because I think
You will. He's going to be a guest on the show.
Oh, see, look at you. He's already a guest on the show. You guys have known each other for 48 hours, and he's already a guest on the show.
Yes.
So, well, I'll be respectful. I'll be very respectful, and I don't want you sitting next to me during this interview, like, you know, toe tapping me and nudging my knee and
not even sitting next to you. I can't.
You know, pinching me and touching me, like, you know, I told you don't ask him that.
I'm
I told you don't
gonna
do this.
do that to you when he comes
No,
on.
I hate that. I hate that. I have to be a damn good talent like I am every day of the week here, and I'll keep it within frame. Like, I'll be respectful. I'm not going to ask like what happened behind closed doors. And
Well, I invited him next weekend, by the way.
Oh, he's coming to the big Studio 110
Yeah,
live
he
event.
is,
Okay, great.
He is. And so funny thing is, so I invited him to Anthony Hamilton's after party because I was going.
Yeah.
And I asked him if he's going. He was like, well, I don't actually like know Anthony. Like I just work all of the fights, and like I know all of the fighters, but not on like a personal level. He just has all of the contact information because, you know, he's working and, you know, helping all of the different fighters who get injured. And so he goes to every single fight that they have.
Yep.
And so I was telling him, I was like, well, you should come after. So let me first of all tell you, not to put anybody on blast, but somebody said it was a 5-minute drive from the fight from Anthony's house. So I was like, oh, perfect. So I'm like telling Matt, oh my gosh. I'm like telling him that. And we look on GPS at finally, like when the fight's over, because we're going to go over there. And it's a 40-minute drive. So we see that. And he's like, holy cow. And I'm like, well, are you still going to go? He's like, are you going to go? And I was like, yeah. He's like, well, then yeah, I'm going to go. So we drive out there, and it's like in the middle of the woods. Okay. It's like deep. And Anthony tells us before we go out there, you're going to lose connection. You're going to lose reception. So here's the directions, like on the like a list basically. So I'm like, I gave him the directions. I was like, all right, well, this is your chance. Like, you're going to read the directions and just find it because we're going to lose connection out here. So one of my girlfriends, Taya, she's like driving behind us because we're like everyone's like going in a line. And so everyone's like driving out there together. And then Taya, like I lose Taya, and I'm like, oh my gosh, where'd Taya go? And then I lose reception, and I'm like, oh, this is not good. And Taya had to be up hiking in the morning because it was Earth Day yesterday. And so she was like, I got to be up at like 5 a.m. to go hiking. So so Matt and I are driving, like he's in front of me in my car, and we're literally trying in our possible every single way to find this place without GPS, just off of the directions that Anthony posted. So we're like trying to find this place. We're going down every alley, trying to go down every turn, like going down. We finally find like the E. Hamilton resident area where it's like literally says like E or something like that.
A. Hamilton?
Or A. Hamilton, sorry.
Yeah.
No, it was E's.
Well, that's all right. That's all right. So
Something, yeah.
So just kind of getting to business here. I mean, I want to be. I'm not presuming or expecting anything to happen, but I do consider myself partially a matchmaker for.
My
yeah,
God!
Yeah,
Hey,
yeah.
Marina, you up against?
Yeah. So I Marina, our dating coach, lady that was on the show with me last week, who's got like 400 clients, who charges about $3,000 per client. Should know that there's some competition on the way. So with
You
that,
gonna tell her this? Oh yeah.
I will be telling her this. I have a conference call with her when I get off there. But with that being said, Dirty Harry now is a matchmaker, and in return for you being so excited about this, your new boo thing that you met.
Oh my God! I hate you for doing this on air.
Yeah. So with that being said, I don't want to put you in the position, but I think you and him now need to treat me to dinner to any restaurant that I want. And I love salmon. I love Copper River salmon. And I like healthy dinners. I don't want any of that crap, any of that seafood from the grocery store. I want a good dinner because I can really see this going somewhere. I mean, all the other guys that were hitting you up now shouldn't it be that surprise now when you don't respond back to their text messages? So that's what I asked for. So.
It's just funny too because I'm not a very flirty person, and I actually don't like. It's gonna sound bad, but I don't find interest in people like that much. And if I do, it's like okay, it's gone like pretty soon. Like I'm just, but this is very, very different than I've ever experienced. So
thanks to me.
Yes, thanks to you.
Yeah.
Okay, now it's time to you. Now it's time to set you up.
Well, we don't need to worry about that right now. But should I call Jason from the High Shoulder? No, he hasn't called into the show yet, and he was supposed to be calling 15 minutes ago. So
yeah, he is actually in a meeting right now.
Oh, he's in a meeting. Okay. Well,
big important stuff for.
Too bad.
They're kind of.
Well, too bad. So we won't. We will. Maybe Jason will come on with us tomorrow. One thing I want to talk about before I transition back to you, Miss Erica, my show producer and assistant here, is the good old Laugh Your Ass Off with Icons of Comedy, going down June 30th, Shower Center in Kent. Tickets are on sale right now. You can go to the box office. You can call them. You can hit up their website. Support this great event. We got Bill Bellamy, D. Ray Davis, Dion Cole, Aded Rodriguez, Melanie Camacho, and Marlon Wayans. All right, now that we got that out of the way, we got that business out of the way, I want to talk about the big event happening in 5 days here at Studio 110.Live's headquarters that Erica and Julianne and so many people here on the team are coming on board to facilitate and make this event so vibrant and festive. I'm sure there's been some new developments that have occurred since I checked in with you last, because it is a party for me and the show, but I like to kind of take a step back and let you guys work your magic that you guys are doing. So what's the newest information that you can report to me right now?
Okay, so this has been something that I have had the hardest time trying to keep a secret. And
I don't want to know. I don't want to know any secrets.
No, I'm not. But I'm gonna say, you guys, that we have a very big guest that is very, very crucial to. How do I say this without like giving too much information? That is very crucial for the kind of overall expansion of Studio 110, and is very dear to Harris, to Dirty Harry.
Yep.
Yes, to Harris, Dirty Harry. Yes.
And this could be anybody from. I mean, this could be. And I'm not asking for. Believe me, I'm not asking for any names. But this could be Snoop Dogg. This could be someone in Jay-Z's camp. This could be, multiple pretty big producers in New York. This could be a record executive. This could be a lot of people that I've had the pleasure and opportunity to do business with throughout my 20 plus years of being, in Seattle and being a good, a good radio host. So this could be anybody,
Well, I think that overall that this person you're very, very, very fond of. You're very influenced by them. You're very you really have a high respect for this person. And, you follow a lot of their, how do I say this? A lot of their music kind of appreciation as well.
Well, like I said, this could be someone, in Jay-Z's camp. This could be Snoop Dogg. This could be someone in Dr. Dre's camp. I mean, these are all people that I have relationships with that I follow. So, I mean,
exactly.
I think are you gonna blindfold me and put this person in front of me, or how's it gonna go down?
So
they're gonna come up and tap my shoulder behind me and surprise the hell out of me.
This person actually will be coming down before the event.
Okay. So I'll see them before the event.
You will see them before the event.
Okay. All right.
Unfortunately, because we're trying to, I wanted them to surprise you at the event, but they're coming down before that.
Okay.
Because they're also going to be helping promote.
Wonderful. Well, this sounds like it could be just, huge. I mean,
it is.
Are we prepared to invite local news affiliates here to capture this so people can really see what's going on here at Studio 110.live? And if you need my assistance with that, I will pass you on some appropriate contacts at Como King Cairo Q13. Here, some of our local TV Avenue assets here in the Northwest.
That's a wonderful idea.
And you're making it sound too like there's multiple surprises. So
there is multiple surprises. So, we here, the team at Studio 110, want to make sure that Dirty Harry really has the launch party that he deserves.
Thank you.
So we're trying to do everything possible to make this thing just blow up.
Yep.
And not just blow up, but make sure that you are really, really, really respected.
Thank you.
And you get the overall kind of image, and just, this is a day that we are appreciating you, essentially, and so we want to make sure that people understand that this is the launch party of Studio 110 and its success and many things that go with it. And, obviously you are the main star here. So everything that comes in collaboration with that, it's overall in, appreciation for you.
Thank you very much. And thank you. And on a serious tip, I know I like to joke around and have fun with you. I know how hard you and Julianne and the entire team have been working on this party. And I'm very grateful to you guys. I mean, I couldn't do this without a great team around me that facilitates, needs and desires to make this happen. I'm told on an overall, in terms of an attendance magical number, we're talking 200 plus.
Yes.
So this is not a small production.
Absolutely not.
And you mentioned that there's multiple surprises, and that we have caterers, and there's it's just not one of those events that you can be standing outside, because we're 33 floors up, and it's a ton of security around here. Even every day we have to use multiple key fobs just to be able to get into our studio here.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
You're not going to be able to just be standing around hoping to be able to get in. And even if the paparazzi does show up, they're the only ones that we would maybe make an exception for, because look, sometimes it's good to have those extra pieces of photography out there, but we will discuss that as that plays into proper format. So.
Plus, all of our VIP guests, you will know who they are because they will be wearing a VIP bracelet. These people are people that make over 7 figures, and who are basically obviously celebrities.
Right.
So it's going to be really good for a lot of people who are coming to the party paying that, $30 to get in, which we only have a limited amount of tickets left. So it's been kind of going crazy, honestly, just because, a lot of people are wanting to get into this event, and it's not just a tiny event. Like, this is a huge thing. We've got multiple things going on, our fashion show. We've got about 3 different designers that are going to be showcased, and then we've also got our VR launch that's going to be happening. So that, I'm really excited for that. I'm not going to lie, that's going to be so sick.
And speaking of the VR launch, I've understood you correctly that what they're launching for me, what they created for me, normally is what, $10,000 to $15,000?
$10,000 to $15,000,
Huge.
Correct.
Huge.
It's huge, especially because it's in high fidelity, which means that you're able to put this headset on and duplicate and manipulate the actions as if you were in real life.
Wow.
So it's insane that people are going to be able to put this headset on and literally virtually feel like they're actually you and be able to move with your movements. It's going to be nuts.
Huge. I can't wait.
Crazy.
Can't wait to have that back of the house to show my friends. And I haven't even seen it yet, so I can't. Hopefully, I'm sure you've seen it. Hopefully, it looks good and you approve. And my high jump bar. Have you picked out the outfit of choice yet in terms of what you'll be wearing? Is it going to be? Are you going to go the designer route? Are you going to do like the
Wait, are you talking
leather
about my
jacket.
outfit?
Yeah, your outfit.
Oh, come on now. I designing my own outfit. Hello.
Wow. Okay, so so you're creating a personalized outfit for the big party this Saturday.
I'm a costume designer. Hello.
Have you already started on that mission too, or you don't have any time to be working on that yet?
No, I've actually already started on that. It's basically done. So.
Wow. And then you've got other friends that you're bringing, other gals.
Oh, absolutely.
That'll be kind of cocktail
models.
waitresses.
Yep.
Okay.
We've got our cocktail waitresses who will be serving the oh my gosh. It's
just different drinks and food, and
it's very high class vodka. Let's just say that very like exclusive high class vodka.
Well, that's what we do around here. We're not in the cheap business around here. And I'm told that I'll be making a speech.
Yes, you will.
Okay.
You will be making the first speech of the night.
And I may need your assistance to put that together for me. You know my style, and I know my buddy, our main sponsor here, the big show, Ryan Conley. He'll be speaking about FutureNet. So I'm really excited in terms of what the night will be offering, and it'll be a lot of moments that I'm tending to believe and think that'll be unforgettable.
It's going to be amazing. I'm so excited. I literally can't wait. Like, it's going to be so much fun.
Well, you have things to distract you now leading up to that. So you have things to be able to, like, not all of us are lucky like you, Erica, where some of us, we go, bowling on a random Monday night with friends. You're it's like, I get it. It's the honeymoon phase. You meet someone and they're top of mind until, like, the first 90 days, and then things kind of start to progress and come down a couple notches. Look, at the end of the day, though, and it's one of my lines that I probably shouldn't say as much as I do, but at the end of the day, I want you and this doctor, or whatever his name is, to have a good, happy, fond memories together. Let's just say that.
Okay, I will just say though that work is a priority over boys, over
good.
men.
Well, I knew that.
It is,
I knew
yeah.
That. Good.
I
good,
mean,
good.
guys come and go, and I've learned that through my years, and experience and stuff like that. But I even told him straight up. He was like, "Oh, well, hopefully I don't become a distraction." I was like, "No, you won't, because I need to get things done."
Yeah.
And that will, like yesterday, if I would have left, I literally had to be like, "Okay, I have to get work done."
Yeah. You had to do all
Because
that.
otherwise, I would have been there the entire second night.
Yeah.
So I was like, no, I have to get work done. Like, I have things that have to happen on, like, tomorrow, and I have to. He was like, oh, I was like, no, like, yeah, I do have to.
Because then I'm sure his answer back to you was, the last person I ever want to piss off is Dirty Harry. So I'm sure he said that to you, and he has nothing to worry about. I mean, anybody that treats Erica, my show producer, with the proper respect that you deserve to be treated as, I have your back. But I'm sure this doctor said, the last person I want to piss off is Dirty Harry.
Exactly.
So with that being said, I'm very happy for you. Thank you for coming on with me for the last half hour of the big show here today. Look forward to having my buddy Jason call in tomorrow or stop by from the High Children, my local group here in Seattle that's making just a ton of traction and headway. Being played on my buddy's station, John McDaniel's C89.5, the dance station out here. And it was a great show today. I want to give a huge shout out again to Annie and Jeremiah, who came in, Talk It Up TV. They were on with me for the first hour today, and just all the great causes that they're teaming up with. I mean, they talked about just this, wonderful young lady who's had a rough life, who they really, came in and ultimately helped and, opened up the right doors and the right channeling effects to be able to give her a good life. So I like hearing about. We joke around a lot on the show. We have fun on the show, but there's a lot of moments to the show where we have to be serious and really take things into proper consideration. So thank you again to Annie and to Jeremiah. Looking forward to having them back on the air with me here in the next couple weeks. And what else do we need to do? We need to thank again Anthony Hamilton for calling into the show. And thank you, Erica, for hopping on and all the hard work that you do here behind the scenes to make this show so vibrant that it is Monday through Friday, 1 to 3 Pacific Standard Time. If you're not following us on our Instagram, like I say every day, what are you waiting for? So just go to studio110.live and look at all the fun videos and pictures. Erica works really hard on making sure that is vibrant and looks good on an everyday basis. And until then, I think we're gonna sign off for the day. We have plenty of work to do here behind the scenes. So it was a great show today. I'm looking forward to all the guests that I'm hearing that'll be on with me this week here at Studio 110.live. Shout out Ryan Conley from FutureNet, who came by this afternoon, and he's doing a great mission now, supporting and helping different homeless people around the Northwest. So just one more great thing that Ryan continues to do out here for the community in Seattle and Bellevue and everyone else that's affected by this growing occurrence, not only in Seattle but on a national level. Until that, we'll sign off. If you're on the West Coast, you got 2 hours left till it's good old HH time, happy hour. On the East Coast, you should already be home or on your way home. And international viewers, you should be listening, but also be hopefully in bed. Until then, I'll look forward to being back with you on an audio-visual side of presentation. Tomorrow, back at it in the hot seat in the captain's chair, Studio 110.live. We will see you tomorrow. Have a wonderful rest of your afternoon. Good night.